Not all recommended healthy foods are healthy. Most people follow the food pyramid because it's what we've been taught, but it's simply wrong. We're taught healthy whole grains and that dairy is recommended. What most people don't know is that certain products in the food pyramid cause inflammation in our body that leads to disease. If you continue to follow this way of eating, you run the risk of gaining even more weight and disease that are preventable with the right nutrition. If you want to know the truth, download my free resource, The 3 Biggest Lies You've Been Told About Weight Loss, in the link below. There's no such thing as a healthy whole grain. If you look at modern grains, the way they're processed, grown and processed today, there's nothing healthy and there's nothing whole about it. And by the way, I have an entire other video about grains on my YouTube channel. You can watch it if you want. But we have to remember that over the decades and over the last century or so, we have bastardized our grains. We have made them to where they are more unhealthy than ever. And we don't process them in our bodies like we used to because the grains aren't like they used to. But see, what happens is the grains spike our blood sugar, which triggers a whole host of insulin to bring that blood sugar back down. And remember, you cannot lose weight in the presence of insulin. So the grains just beat up our body. And on the Code Red Lifestyle, I have everybody avoid all grains no matter what during weight loss mode. You don't need milk and dairy products. The ingredients in milk cause inflammation. Everybody thinks that my problem with milk is the lactose, and really it's not my biggest problem with milk. My problem with milk is the inflammation that carrageenan causes. So what's carrageenan? It's a thickening agent from seaweed that is highly inflammatory in your body. So if you find yourself drinking, like let's say a lot of heavy whipping cream, then try to get the carrageenan free, try to get the non-GMO, the organic item that doesn't have those inflammatory products in it. But dairy in and of itself is generally inflammatory, so you really just want to be super careful with dairy products. So when we're talking about cheese, yeah, there are only a couple of Code Red approved cheese, and that is cottage cheese and cream cheese. Look, over the decades that I've been doing this, I just haven't noticed that these two items stall people's weight loss. So I let people have them in small amounts, but the problem is most cheeses will stall weight loss. They are inflammatory. So you want to stick with the cottage cheese and the cream cheese, and you still want to have them in small amounts. You'll notice that a lot of dairy products are fat-free, and that's a problem because what do? The manufacturers remove the fat from the dairy, and it doesn't taste as good. Fat makes everything taste good, right? So they add the sugar and the carbs back in to make it taste good. And that's where the problems come in. You have to remember, fat-free, light, non-fat, not a good choice. So stick with things that are full fat. Keep the fat in them. Look at a glass of milk. You know I'm not a big fan of milk. I have been off of milk for about 13 years. But if you choose to drink milk, if you choose to give your kids milk, you want to look at a glass of whole milk as opposed to skim milk, for example. The whole milk is going to have more fat in it than the skim milk, but it only takes 1 glass of full fat milk to keep your kids satisfied as opposed to 2 glasses of skim milk. And we've actually seen this in studies. So if you choose to give your children milk, or if you choose to drink milk, it's just much better to have the fat milk, the fatty milk. And also a big common misconception about dairy is that you need it for calcium. But the reality is you get a very, very, very small amount of calcium from milk. The dairy industry, they want you to think you get a lot of calcium, and that's how they've sold us this bill of goods for decades. But it's simply not true. There's more calcium in chia seeds, for example, than milk. And a lot of milks cause you to leach calcium from your bones. So you can see why I'm just not a big fan. If you want to keep operating on the industry lies, I really can't help you. But if you are ready to know the truth and become a Code Red rebel, I have a program for you. Download my free resource below and get connected today. If you love this video, give me a big thumbs up, and better yet, subscribe to my channel. That way you're notified when I release a new video. But listen, I want to hear from you. Put in the comment box below, what food did you used to think was healthy, but then you later found out wasn't? Comment below and I'll see you on the next video.